Yo, what is up, everybody? It is time for the Jason Masoud Show, episode 3. We are live on Twitch right now, and I have an awesome guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Britney Ditocco. I am a singer-songwriter from New York, and I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you so much
Thank you for having me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
I'm really excited.
Okay, so first question I want to ask. Tell us a little bit about your musical journey. How old were you when you decided you wanted to be a musician?
Sure. So when I was younger, I was very into theater. My mom signed me up for like this little theater camp in my town when I was I think 3 or 4 years old. And I did theater like almost my entire life in this small theater camp. I would go there, they would do classes like semesters sort of. And we would put on all these really fun shows. So I did that for a really long time. And then when I got into like middle school and high school, I got really into rock music. Mm-hmm. And because I was already singing from theater, I really wanted to sing in a rock band. And so I got into my first band when I was in like high school. And to me, it was like the coolest thing ever. I just loved singing in bands.
Oh, dope.
And then as I was like getting closer to the end of high school, I was like, okay, what am I going to do with my life? Because unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, high school is not forever. And
Right.
So I had to figure out what I wanted to do. I really liked music. So I decided I would try and start learning guitar so I could write my own songs and go to school for songwriting. So that's what I did.
Oh, nice. Okay, so when you were in a rock band, did you play an instrument or were you the lead vocalist?
Lead vocalist.
Oh, really? Okay.
Full-fledged diva.
Oh, snap. All right. Oh, that's cool. So you started off doing theater. That's really cool. Do you still do theater?
Yeah. No, I wish I could. I would love to. If I had more time, I would definitely do that. But unfortunately, you can't do everything.
Right. So what are you doing now?
Right now, I am working part-time as an administrative assistant, and I am working just on my music at home. And my boyfriend and I are working to finish producing my first solo EP.
Oh, nice.
I play also in a rock band right now, and I sing and play rhythm guitar in that band. But unfortunately, with the virus, 2 of my bandmates have members of the family that are immunocompromised. So,
oh, wow.
So we've been really careful. We just can't really do a ton of gigs and things like that.
Right. Now, how has the coronavirus affected you as a musician?
Well, it came at like a really weird time for me. I just graduated college in May. And so, it's been hard to get started, I feel like, to sort of find your footing because it's harder to, I would say, like, just play live shows, which is really what I was used to. And so I'm just kind of learning to adapt to this climate where you meet people online to network.
Right.
And you play shows online and do interviews online. And so, yeah, it's been kind of weird adjusting, especially I still live at home. So trying to stay out of everyone's way is always, a big factor too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But I think it's just adjusting to things being different than I had anticipated them to be. Not necessarily bad. I think, I think that there might be a lot of things that make this easier for musicians that come from it. Like, I think it's definitely, you can reach people from all over in a way that I think people weren't doing. But then on the other side, it just wasn't what I was expecting.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel you there too, because I was a session player before the coronavirus. Mm-hmm. I was playing like 4 or 5 gigs a week. And then out of nowhere, as soon as the coronavirus hit, I lost all of my gigs just like that. And it was so crazy because, I got so used to playing gigs all the time. And then that was just kind of, just taken away out of nowhere. I started thinking about what do I do now, and
right.
Like you said, I think now with the coronavirus as a musician, this is a very important time to start building up all of our social media platforms, doing things like TikTok, YouTube, Twitch streaming, all of that stuff. Like we have a great opportunity to really get ourselves out there. And like you said, show the world who the hell we are and what we do. So
I absolutely agree.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, especially me, I was being very negative in the beginning, but now, you know, it's been a few months. Now I realize, you know what? Because of the coronavirus, I started, you know, streaming on Twitch TV. I started to TikTok, started to YouTube. And now when the coronavirus goes away and gigs come back, I'll be playing gigs, but I'll also have a following on social media. So it's like,
absolutely.
As musicians, I really feel like we have to take this moment and really think about how we can better ourselves. So when things do go back to normal, we're going to have like a little extra on our back, you know,
An
something
edge.
a little, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I think there are definitely people that aren't, and I don't want to be mean, because I do think that this is a hard time for a lot of people. And I think that a lot of people have other factors, and I'm very lucky that this is the way that I've been affected the most, you know?
Yes.
There are other people who have been affected in worse ways, but I think I do see a lot of musicians who are treating it like a negative thing still, and who aren't really taking advantage of the extra time they might have at home be working on this. And for me, I mean, there's a lot of days where over this pandemic, I've just felt like completely unmotivated and like upset, and you know, because it's hard. And I just always tell myself, you know, I give myself a day, you know, if I need a day off to just like relax and not do music, that's fine. But I always try and remind myself, like, a year from now, you're going to look back at this time, and if you don't use it in a way that is somewhat productive, you're going to be so mad at yourself.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so this is a question that I wasn't planning on asking, but okay. Do you stress out when you do take a day off? Like, for me personally, I have to do music every single day, no matter what. I have to at least, you know, feel like I really grinded or really worked towards something. Because if I take a full day off, like if I wake up in the morning and I lay in bed for an extra 2 hours, I literally just feel like shit about myself. And I'll like start getting anxiety, and I'm like, oh, I need to do something. And then I'll just say, screw the break. I don't need a break. I'm young. Let's just, you know, keep it going. Keep it going. Do you experience a similar thing?
Every day of my life. Absolutely. I think like
Nice.
It's hard now because we have to be very self-motivated. And so back before this, you know, you had things in line that like you had to work for. You know, if you had a gig on Friday, you best be practicing 2 weeks, 3 weeks before that. Hopefully even a little further before if it's a long gig. But you know what I mean? Like you had external factors making sure you got stuff done. Like now it's on you, you know? And I think that a lot of musicians get really stressed out about that. And because there's so much emphasis, like, I think like there's so many people that are like, oh, like I might not be the best, but I can outgrind everyone. Yeah. And I think that to an extent that's true, but you have to be able to play the long game. It's not short term grind away and then you're going to be fine. Like you got to make sure you're able to play the long game. So, you know, you can't completely burn yourself out, but I do have trouble with that, especially like I feel like I'm trying to prove to the people around me that I'm not being lazy or taking this lightly, and that I am working hard, because I think a lot of people in my life might not see pursuing music as something that's a legitimate thing to be pursuing. Like, I don't know if you've ever had trouble with that, but I feel like, you know, I have a lot of people that just don't really see it as something that is worth putting this time into, or they think it's like a hobby and it's just something I do for fun. And why is she trying to turn it into a career? Like I'm trying to show people that it's hard work.
Right.
I'm trying to crank out content. And I think that sometimes I get really wrapped up in that for sure.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
So I usually will schedule days off like days in advance. Like if I'm like a big planner type person, and I'll try and like plan out, you know, at the beginning of the week, I have a pretty good idea of like what I want to get done that week. And so I'll look ahead and I'll be like, okay, I need to take like one full day off of music. Like for the most part, usually I'll practice guitar like on that day, but I'm not going to sit down and try and force myself to write anything. I'm not going to like, you know, edit videos, whatever. That's like my one day. And I think scheduling it ahead of time and like making sure you do work on the other days will allow you to have like I've planned for this day. I said I was going to have it, and take that day off.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like it helps if you've put in a lot of work, you know, for like a week, 2 weeks, finished a big project, and then you finally get that day off. Then, you know, for me at least, the anxiety isn't as strong. I'm like, you know, I feel like I need to do something, but I accomplished this, so it's okay to just kind of chill out and relax. You know?
But
you brought up,
you got to feel like you earned it.
Yeah. You brought up a good point, though. Talking about how people, a lot of people out there don't perceive music as a real career, especially, like me. I'm 27 now, and it's like, when I talk to people that are my age, they usually have full-time jobs. They're established, in their career.
Exactly.
They're working for companies, and then they ask me what I do. Oh, I'm a musician. Almost always I can see it in their eyes. They're like, oh yeah. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
you're a musician. All right. They don't actually say it, but I could see it in their body language.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, as far like even when I was younger, when I was first, picking up the guitar and being serious about it, I wasn't very good.
Right.
I knew I had a lot of room for improvement. I knew I had to practice, but I always had something deep down inside of me that told me one day you're gonna make your dreams come true. No matter what anybody says, no matter what level I was at, 8-9 years ago, I would always tell myself, no matter what, just keep going, keep pushing, keep going, keep pushing. And one day, all of this is gonna make sense. I'm finally gonna accomplish my dreams. And the people who thought that I was just some, grown-ass man chasing an empty dream, screw them, screw them to begin with. Us as musicians, we're not picking a smart path.
Right.
This is not a very logical path to take.
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, if music is your life, there's no running away from it. No matter what. You try to run away from it, you're going to think about it all day, every day. Deep down inside of your heart, you're going to know you're meant to play music, no matter what it is. No matter what the craft is. It doesn't just have to be music. It could be art. It could be anything. If it's really inside of you,
right,
you have to pursue it. You don't have a fucking choice. You know what I mean? But yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. So it's interesting.
You have to at least see it through. You have to see it. You have to go explore it.
Definitely.
At the very least. Sorry, continue. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. You're good. So what I was going to ask you was, growing up, in high school, you said you joined a rock band. When you joined the band, did you have any resistance from any of your loved ones, maybe friends, saying, do music as a hobby. Do music as a hobby. Remember, music isn't a career. It's just a hobby. Did you ever have anybody tell you that?
Definitely later, definitely when it came time to, looking into schools and picking schools. Absolutely. I think nobody really came right out and said it. It came more in the form of oh, maybe this instead, or oh, you're good at this, maybe this, trying to push in the other directions. And I went to college. I was also a double major in history, and honestly, I did that because I missed the auditions for my college the first year, so I figured I would go there, get my gen eds done, and I was like, I'm just gonna declare a history major for this year. And I got so much of it done in the first year that I was like, I guess I'll just finish this too. And, I have my advisor, who I'm very, very close with, who is my history advisor. I know that sounds totally weird, but she's like a second mom to me at this point. And, she's always trying to push me in a different direction. She's always like, well, the music industry is changing now. She's just waiting to be right.
Yeah. Yep.
But this comes from a place of caring. You have to remember that people do this for you. It's not because they don't believe in you. It's not because they don't think you're talented. It's because they want to see you do well, Right.
And they're thinking
more,
in
their opinion, that's what it is.
Yeah. They're thinking more long term, having a safety net, essentially, 401k, retirement. They're thinking about all those things. But us as artists who are grinding, we're thinking about how we're going to make our dreams come true. And it's like you said, they don't mean it to hurt us. They're just looking out for us because they love us. So we do have to remember that, because sometimes, at least in my life, I've had moments where, somebody tells me something and it really hurts me because it makes me feel like they don't think I could do this. They don't think I'm good enough to really make this happen.
Right.
But in hindsight, now that I'm older, it's like they were just looking out for me. They had a different perspective, and you have to respect that. But you got to remember, we're in charge of our own destiny. We are walking this path for ourselves. So no matter what anybody says, let's listen to them. Let's take it into consideration. But deep down inside, if we really know what we're going to do or what we want to do, we're going to do it either way. You know what I mean? So it's
exactly. That's how I feel about it too.
Right. So when you started going, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say, you owe it to yourself to listen to yourself sometimes. It is your life at the end of the day, and they're going to respect that too. If you make a decision and they've advised you against it, you're still going to have the right to make the decision at the end of the day. And I think everyone does respect that for the most part. If they actually do care about you, they'll respect that. But continue.
Yeah. And then you have the other side where, at least I don't know if you've dealt with this, but I've dealt this quite a bit where, you know, somebody who is kind of on the same path, you know, like another musician, they see you doing better, maybe like better than them, or at least like trying harder or grinding harder. And then they tell you to stop. But sometimes those people could be trying to, you know, just weigh you down because they don't want to see you succeed, or they're a little bit jealous. So there's always kind of like two sides to it, you know. I feel like it's really important for us to know who are our friends, our family, you know, who really love us and who are really trying to help us out. And then we should also watch out for the people who might be a little bit jealous, who are trying to bring us down because they don't have it in them to do what we're doing. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's tough, honestly.
Yeah, coming from a former jealous person, this definitely is the thing. Like I mean, not in a long time, but I know when I was in high school, I was definitely a pretty insecure person. And so I would be very jealous, especially of other girls that I saw doing really well. And, you know, at the end of the day, I think that I don't remember when I had this change of mind, but I remember just thinking to myself, this is great because this shows that I can accomplish this too. Like if they're from the same town as me, they're at the same skill level as me. If they do this and they succeed, I think to myself, wait a second, that means like that's totally feasible for me too. And so it totally, some people come to that conclusion eventually, and you can see that there's no need for jealousy in the music industry, even though I feel like there's a lot of it, because you learn to realize that there is no, like, success is not a finite resource.
Right.
You know, one person being successful doesn't mean that there's less success to go around. And I actually think that, I mean, local music and up and coming artists do well when they work together, like a network, and my fans become your fans and your fans become my fans. And you start to realize that. And I think that the people that are jealous and don't realize that, or don't come to that conclusion eventually, are the ones that maybe it's not going to work out for them.
Exactly. And, you know, you brought up a good point where instead of looking at them and being jealous or saying, oh, you know what, they're not even that good, they just got lucky, or, you know, things along those lines.
Exactly.
Instead of doing that, use it as motivation. Like you said, you know, use that as motivation, because in the end, we are all in here, or we're all on this path to make our dreams come true. You know, in the end, we all kind of want the same thing. We have different goals, but we're kind of on the same path. So why not help each other, you know, and bring each other up instead of trying to tear each other down and talking all this trash, you know? It really doesn't help.
It's just not productive.
Exactly.
It's literally so counterproductive. You should be looking at other people when they're doing well and thinking about, what are they doing that I'm not doing? And should I be doing that?
Right. But, you know, honestly, I'm a pretty jealous person too, especially when it comes to music. Like if I'm you know, like say I'm at a bar somewhere and there's a band playing and the guitar player takes a solo, there's always a little part of me that's like, I could have done better. Yeah, if I was on that stage, I would have done better. But then it's like, I really, as I'm getting older, I realize I need to let go of that, because that is just straight ego. That is my ego getting the best of me, and that's not cool to do. But I'm such a competitive person by nature. I'm really trying to, you know, kind of tame that beast in a way, because I do find myself hating on other people sometimes. But I'm getting a little bit better.
Everyone's guilty of it now and then.
Right. Especially with social media, though, because, I mean, literally, you're seeing a bunch of successful people all the fucking time doing a bunch of cool stuff that you're not doing. And, you know, when you see that stuff after a while, it's like, damn, this guitar player, you know, he played with this person and he toured for like 3 months all over the world. Yeah, well, you know what? Fuck that guy. But then I got to remember, this dude probably, like, you know, really, really just grinded hard, put in the work, and then also met the right people. You know, you got to, for me, sometimes I have to take a step back and I need to realize, you know what? I'm going to support this person and not hate on them.
Great.
But it's
There's
tough.
always a little luck involved.
Yeah. Exactly.
And I think a lot of this comes too from being pitted against other musicians all the time. Like, not even by musicians, but like by other people and outside people. You know, you have your friends and they try and be supportive of you, and you're out to see live music and your friends are like, well, you're better than that person. You know, like
Oh
people make it
yeah.
into a competitive thing. I think it's kind of ingrained in our brains at a certain point. You got to kind of almost unlearn it.
Right, right, yeah, and that's the tough part, honestly, because in the end, we're all human. We all have emotions, and sometimes like those emotions do get the best of us. We're not perfect, but I feel like it's more, you know, as we get older and gain more experience, we're on this journey learning constantly. No matter how good you are, you know, if you take like a virtuoso player, no matter what the instrument is, that person in their head probably still feels like they need to practice and they need to work on their craft. Because, you know, we're never really going to be satisfied as musicians, I feel like, because especially for serious, we're always going to want to grow and get better and get better. And we're always constantly learning. So we have to remember that, you know? Experience is very important.
Yeah, I agree too. I think that when you lose the interest in learning, and it doesn't have to be like with anything, I'm just saying in general in life, you know, when you lose interest in growing, that's when I kind of lose respect. You can be at any level to me, and I will have so much respect for you. I mean, I'm not by any means like a virtuoso player, but I want to grow. And to me, I think that that's respectable. And I see so many other people like that, so many people who I think that I might be a little bit better than, in terms of like skill level or whatever and experience,
Right.
you know. And I still, you know what, if they are hungry for that experience and I have nothing but respect for it.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. And I feel like that's how you can tell an amateur versus a professional, because a professional, no matter what level they're at, if they see somebody, you know, me as a guitar player, if I see somebody that just started, clearly just started, you know, could barely play the guitar, I'm going to go up to that person and be like, you know what? You're doing great. Keep practicing. Give them some advice. And then an amateur would probably be like, oh, look at that dude. He, you know, he sucks. He can't play. He sucks.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's what really, you know, a professional and an amateur. A professional is going to give respect to an individual, not based off of their skill, but off of their character. Where an amateur is only looking at the skill side of it. And if that person isn't as good, they're probably going to bash them. You know what I mean? I feel like, you know, and
I see it all the time.
yeah, exactly. Me too. And, you know, I work with some people who are straight haters who talk shit about everybody, no matter who it is. And it's like, you know, I don't care. I'm just doing my thing, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. You just focus on growing yourself and acknowledge other people when you can tell that they're trying to grow.
Exactly. I mean, that's it. So you said you were going to school, or you just graduated, right?
Yes.
Oh, nice. Congrats. So did you, you said at first you were a history major, or did you graduate as a history major?
I graduated as a history and a music major. So I got a bachelor in music and a bachelor of arts in history, I think.
Oh, okay. Okay. So, what did you learn?
They mailed me 2 diplomas.
Oh, watch out. She doesn't have one. She's got 2. All right. I know. So when you were, I'm
going to tell people I went to school for 8 years.
Oh, yeah.
Wise.
When you went to school, no, you're good. When you went to school for music, so usually you have to pick either classical or jazz. I'm not sure about the school that you went to. What did you choose?
Yeah, my school is totally whack. I don't know if anybody in the chat knows, I went to the SUNY Purchase Conservatory of Music. So it's a state university in New York. And I went for this program called Studio Composition.
Oh, really?
Which is totally like weird, and nobody knows what it means, so I just have to explain it. And it's basically it's a composition major, but the focus is towards modern day songwriting and music production.
Okay.
So basically, in terms of like theory and things like that, we're always geared more towards jazz, because that's really where more of our popular music finds its roots in.
Right.
Right. So we learned like jazz theory. We learned like arranging and things like that.
Did you know about music theory before you went to college?
Yeah, I took it in high school. And I didn't even like play guitar.
Oh, really?
I didn't even. I had to, and you know what? And I was the kid that programmed everything into MuseScore. You know what? Like, there's no reason not to learn it. And there were, you know, I was always working with other musicians too. And this actually almost worked against me where, you know, I had all these other musicians at my disposal. So I got really good at like singing my ideas to other people and working with guitarists who would then fill in the blanks for me.
Right.
so I could still have like my creative vision realized. And then when I got to school, I was like, all right, I'm not like the kind of person that's like, hey, can you like do this assignment with me? I was like, no, I'm here to learn. I'm here to drop all my crutches and like learn to walk by myself.
Right.
And so at that point, you know, I tried to learn as much as I could. And I think I always like joke around that like I'm like, oh, I'm at like the level of a high school, like, you know, like when I started like learning, I took saxophone in high school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my senior year of high school, it was my first instrument that I learned, like actually learned.
Right.
And I was so excited because I was playing in a class with freshmen because it was my first year and I could play all the songs. And I was like, oh my God, like I got to the level of a freshman in 1 year. Like I thought I was so cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
But it's like the same thing. Like, you know, you learn to catch up fast, but you got to throw yourself into it. You need to be in a sink or swim situation sometimes. So that kind of happened for me, and that's where I'm at and why I can continue to kind of pursue this. And yeah, my program was really weird. There's like, I can't think of another program. I mean, maybe like at other schools like Berkeley, I know has songwriting, but like,
right.
Yeah, it's kind of, so I guess the closest thing it would be to, the closest way you could think of it is probably as a songwriting major.
Okay. Now,
a really long-winded answer to your question.
No, it's totally cool. I was just curious. So, you knew a little bit about music theory before you went to college, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, when you went to college and you started learning about jazz harmony, how was that? Was it a little overwhelming at first?
Actually, no. I found it to be, I don't know what it is, but music theory has always just made sense to me. And I think it's probably because I took it in high school. I took AP Music Theory and I took Intro to Music Theory, which was this class that apparently my high school offered. Like, whose high school offers that?
Yeah.
But anyway, I think when I first got into the program, learning the theory, I had a pretty easy time with it because it was going over things. It starts from like ground zero and works its way up. So then at first I was like, this is easy. I already learned this last year. But it was a really good period of reinforcing things that I kind of already knew, but I didn't have like burned into my brain.
Right.
And I don't know. I've always had a pretty easy time with music theory. But what I like about my program is that it wasn't stupid. Like I don't want to say this in a bad way, but if you're going to learn music theory in the context of songwriting, you don't need to spend a billion years on, you know, fourth species counterpoint. Like you can kind of breeze through that stuff. Like you don't need to learn how to avoid perfect fit. Like, you know, be super strict about that. It's more about creating interesting rhythms or like creating interesting chord progressions. It had a heavy focus on harmony, which is why it just really resonated on me. And I think it was really, really great for me because as a songwriter who was not super skilled on an instrument, it helped me to create things that sounded interesting. Like instead of just playing the same 4 chords, and there's nothing wrong with playing the same 4 chords because there are a million different ways that you can make a song sound unique. But for me, I enjoy writing songs with kind of quirky chord progressions. And you don't have to be a virtuoso to write a cool chord progression. If you know music theory and it becomes sort of a trial and error thing where you're like writing a chord progression, you're like, well, I know I can go here, here, and here. And it's not just rules. You can know, oh, well, this would be weird. Nobody says to do this.
Yeah.
And you mess around, you figure out what sounds good on your own. And at the end of the day, it's a chord. You can just freaking strum it. Like, you know.
Right. Oh, okay. That's cool.
So for me, it was really helpful.
Yeah. So, do you ever feel like sometimes knowing too much music theory could be a crutch in your songwriting? Have you ever experienced that where you're working on a song and you're just thinking too much and you realize, you know what, maybe I should stop thinking and just, you know, really feel where the song is going to take me?
Absolutely. And I think like theory gives you cool jumping off points sometimes, but sometimes, I mean, I found myself with the song, I just released a song called Waves.
Uh-huh.
And I remember I had this vocal melody come to my head and I was like, oh, this is a cool vocal melody. I want to use it or whatever. So I sit down at my guitar and I do this chord progression and I was like, okay, well, this is really simple. Can I make this like cooler? Can I like add some things into it? To the point where I got like completely discouraged writing it. I was like, oh, I can't come up with anything good.
Right.
And then like I like took a break. I got up and I was like, why am I being so stupid? Just play the 2 chords that you were going to play in the first place. But sometimes you got to talk yourself out of that. And I tend to overthink a lot when I'm writing music. and then it'll go for a period of like, 2 months, and I'm like, oh my god, I haven't like finished a song in 2 months. But then I guess like maybe I'm in my head a lot. I have an inner dialogue going on all the time. So I'll be like, you know what? Just go downstairs and write the shittiest song you could possibly write. It doesn't matter. Write a song. You have 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Write the crappiest song in the world just to like get something out.
Yeah,
it kind of resets you a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. And I feel like, sometimes, at least for me, like in my songwriting, there are times where I sit down and I write a full song in, an hour, 2 hours, and it's great. Everything flowed. Then there's other times where I sit down and I just sit there for like 3-4 hours and I'm like, dude, I haven't done shit. What the hell's happening? And I start beating myself up about it. But in the end, we're gonna have those moments where we're in a state of flow, and we're also gonna have the other moments where it just doesn't come to us. But it's okay, because those two moments are very, very important, for us as musicians. And I feel like we got to remember that we're not always gonna write our best song. Sometimes we're gonna write some shit, but it's okay, if it really is shit, you come back to it a week later and you don't like it, work on another song. But most of the time when you work on that new song, everything's just going to flow a little bit better because you gave yourself a nice little break,
I'm glad you said that, because that's like definitely something I struggle with, which is, you sit down for 3-4 hours and at the end of it you have almost nothing and you get really frustrated and angry. But I think reminding yourself that like as a creative person, and I think it's really helpful to hear that from other people who write music, you're not always going to be in a state of flow. Sometimes you've got other things going on. Sometimes it just isn't happening. And I'm a person where I think I need to have some sort of I need to feel a little bit inspired to write something good, and I'll try and force myself to write when I'm not inspired, just for the sake of write something crappy, just try,
Exactly.
But I try not to beat myself up about it. I try, but I don't always succeed.
Yeah, but it's really hard.
I'm glad you
really
said
hard.
that too.
Yeah.
Feel better.
Yeah, us as artists,
it's like
musicians,
the hardest part, I think.
Yeah, it's like how it's really hard not to feel bad about things like that, because I mean, us serious musicians, we're literally putting our all into our creations, whether it's a guitar piece or you're writing a song. It doesn't matter. In the end, it's a piece of us, a piece of us.
Yeah.
Like our heart just kind of coming out into the music, and it's really hard not to get emotional about it, because music is an emotional thing, especially if you really are doing it from the heart. So it's like, honestly, it's a struggle, and it's tough being a musician. It's really tough being an artist, because you're putting yourself out there. And I don't know if you've experienced it, where you put out a video, you put in a lot of time, you work really hard on the music, you think it's like, okay, people are gonna love this shit because I put so much time into it. You put it out, nobody gives a fuck, and then you're just like, dude, what? You got what? What the hell's going on? And then you just got to realize, once you put your project out there, you just got to let it go. That's something that I'm really struggling with. You got to let it go and work on the next thing. Don't get too emotionally attached. Just keep creating. Sometimes it's going to go great. Other times it's not going to be that great. Who cares? At least you put something out there. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that literally sit there and think so hard that they don't even do anything. And they don't put anything out there. And the fact that we're actually putting ourselves out there, whether it does good or bad, that doesn't fucking matter. The main point is we are creating. Yeah, exactly. And it's it's a struggle, honestly. Being an artist, being a musician is a real struggle, but I love it so much. Even though it sucks, there's a lot of, it's just, there's nothing else in the world that I would rather do, And I'm pretty sure you would say the same thing. So,
I think TikTok makes that really hard with the whole putting it out there. I feel like the less you try on TikTok, the better it does.
You know what? Okay, so it's so
it's
weird.
Like a peak. It's like low effort, no views. Mild effort, and then high effort is like the lowest amount of views you could possibly get. But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, my experience on TikTok was really weird. So I had a TikTok for about a month, and I was stuck at 38 followers. I was posting twice a day. I was using my DSLR camera. I was recording everything through my DAW. I was mixing everything. I was playing over trending songs, made sure the music was great, the video was great. I was stuck at 38 follows. And then I started posting really simple videos, literally just setting up my phone, acoustic guitar, and then my profile, my account just started blowing up. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? What? Like, dude.
Isn't that the worst?
Yeah, it's like, all right, you guys don't want me to try. It's better for me. I mean, I don't got to put so much time into this shit anymore. And it's kind of funny because All social media platforms I feel like are different. You know, YouTube is one where I think quality does go a long way, but for something like TikTok, people just want a quick experience, whether it makes them laugh, whether it makes them feel something. They want to just connect with the creator, and if you're able to do that, even if it's simple, even if the video looks like shit, it doesn't really matter. People will still love it, you know? So I feel like TikTok is one of those things where it is quantity over quality. Just don't try too hard and have fun, and you should be successful. Exactly. At least I haven't been doing it for too long. Fun. Yeah, exactly.
You have to have fun with it. I've had I had this friend who is a lovely person. And I had mentioned to him that I was making like TikTok videos and things like that. And he was like, oh, okay, like, well, I'm about to drop an album, so like I guess I could make a TikTok, but like I really don't want to, but it's fine. Like I'll just like post myself playing and I'll like get a million, you know. Yeah. I was like, nobody is going to like your page if you are clearly not having fun. I'm like, sorry, but you can't really fool people like that. I feel like people think it's simple to fool people, but you have to be enjoying it. The times where I'm like stressing out about TikTok and I'm like, I gotta crank out content this week are the times that my videos do the worst. People don't care. It's because, you know, you have to be enjoying what you're doing.
Right.
To a certain extent.
It resonates with people. It resonates, you know?
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, it's about being genuine, you know, like, and having a genuine connection with people. Exactly. And so sometimes I even think that maybe sometimes the more highly produced videos do not as well, almost sometimes, because people don't feel like they're having that, like, they don't feel like they're connecting, almost, because it's like the quality is almost watching television or something.
Yeah, exactly. And that's a good point. That's something that I've really thought about too. And honestly, I'm glad TikTok's that way, because I can post content really fast, stress-free. Setting up my camera was already stressful as fuck, and then I got to do the video edits and sync up the sound and do all that crap, and it's like, now I don't. So, all right, TikTok, that's cool. You know what I mean? It's all good.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Now I have the opposite problem where I want to make more YouTube videos, and I think I've got to buy a nice camera now. I'm at the crossroads.
Honestly,
my
I feel
iPhone
like
just isn't cutting it.
Yeah. What kind of iPhone do you have?
I have an iPhone 8. I was thinking about getting the new one because the new one's supposed to have like a really, really good camera, and I was like, do I buy a camera or do I get the new iPhone? And then it is a camera.
Right.
They should just start making cameras. Like Apple should really start making cameras.
I know. Honestly, my girlfriend has not the newest iPhone that just came out, but the one that came out, I think it was last year. I've made a couple YouTube videos.
X or whatever, or the 11.
The 11. She has the 11. The camera on that thing is pretty damn impressive. Honestly, you can get some really good content recording through that phone. So if you don't want to, break the bank buying a new phone and a camera, I think the iPhone would be a good choice for now until you can save up for an actual camera, honestly, because those iPhones, they're whooping ass right now. They're doing great, you know.
They really are. They look great. I mean, I think they look wonderful. I think I bought like one year too early. I should have held out before getting a new one for the next ones.
Yeah.
Because the camera quality now looks crazy. I mean, the difference between my boyfriend's iPhone, he also has the 11, and mine is like ridiculous. His phone looks so much better.
Yeah, it's such a crazy difference. It really is.
It really is.
Okay, so do you have a guitar handy? Do you have a guitar next to you or something? So
I do have one here.
All right, so let's kind of show me what your songwriting process kind of looks like. If you just had your guitar, is there like, I'm putting you on the spot.
Okay.
How would you kind of go about it?
Well, usually, if I'm lucky, I have an idea already in my head for a vocal melody. I know that's kind of weird because I think a lot of people write the chords first, and sometimes I write the chords first. But a lot of times I'll have a vocal melody first, and I'll say like, if I'm going to use a song I've already written as like an example.
Yeah, go ahead.
But if I have like a vocal melody, I'll like figure out I'll like sometimes figure out the notes. And like this takes a while usually, so I find the note, okay. And I'll like figure the whole thing out. Then I kind of like look at it and I'll be like, oh, okay, like, and then I'll find the chords to go underneath it, try and get a vibe going with the guitar. And then at that point, I will usually, I can't play and sing, play and talk at the same time.
Oh, it's all good.
I'll like come up with that, and then usually I'll kind of put it into my I use Logic Pro, and
Same.
I will. Yeah, I think Logic is great. I love
I
Logic.
know, it's
But
fucking awesome.
I'll record the guitar part usually first. I'll sing the melody, and then I kind of fill in the gaps with other instruments that I want, other guitar parts. I'll like write some other guitar parts. And then I will sometimes add some keyboards and stuff. And yeah, and usually my goal when I demo out songs is I always, for the most part, and this is something I actually want to work on and change going forward a little bit more, but I always demo things out with the purpose of just demo it out as best as you can. So like I'll do like a rough demo first. And that'll be pretty good. And then I'll go back into my demo and I'll fix things and I'll get them like as close as I can get them to how I would want it to be
Right.
on a recording. But I'm always recording it with the intention of taking it to a producer because my boyfriend produces all my music. And I think it's really important for songwriters. I don't think this is stressed enough. To learn how to arrange their songs in a way that they're hearing it, or at least get it close, because when you bring it to a producer, they need to know what you're hearing.
Right.
And if you can't communicate that well enough to them, you're going to have a lot of problems. So that's what that usually looks like. Sometimes I'll write like a guitar riff first. Or sometimes I'll like come up with the chords first. Like there's a song that the next song that I'm going to be releasing, I was doing an assignment for school and I had to take some chords from they call it a contrafact. So it's like you take the chords and you like change them and then you like put them in your own style. So I had to take the chords from a song. I did a Debussy song because Debussy's chord progressions are like wacky as heck. And so, if I do the chord progression, I'll just strum it until it feels good. This particular assignment, I remember I did it twice. And I hated it the first time, and I submitted it to the professor, and I sent him an email. I was like, please don't listen to the song I submitted. Like, I want to write a different one. I don't like this. But I was running out of time. And sometimes you try too hard to make things difficult. And sometimes you just got to just strum some big fat open chords. It's fine. Not everything has to be so complicated.
Yeah, that's something that I struggled with when I was going to school. I went to community college for a couple years, and that's where I learned music theory and stuff like that. When I was growing up, I was self-taught. I learned everything by ear. When I went to college, I had I knew nothing. I don't even know like what a G chord was, or like a C, D. I didn't know the names of any chords. I just knew how to play. And once I started learning,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and once I started learning theory, in the beginning, it was very overwhelming because before, I wouldn't think. I would just play, and then if somebody was playing a chord progression, I'd be like, all right, I'll find like a good note and then figure out a melody, whatever it is, But now that I have this knowledge and I was in the midst of trying to, gather up this knowledge and also learn how to apply it on guitar, because back then I also didn't know the notes on my guitar either. It was like, it was almost too much. I feel like there was about a year or a year and a half in my playing where I was probably the most unmusical I've ever been in my whole life because I was just thinking way too much. And then eventually, I started practicing theory and then I started jamming with other people, playing over, complex chord progressions, playing jazz. Eventually, I stopped thinking so much and I still had that knowledge, but I was able to kind of let go and just play.
Yeah.
And now I'm pretty guilty with not really keeping up with my theory. I still know a good amount of theory, but there's still a lot more that I want to learn. I just I'm in this phase in my life where I'd rather just create music and create content than, sit down and practice for 6 hours like I used to. Because I did that for a while, and man, that shit sucks. It's so much, it's so much fun to just pick up your guitar and just kind of improvise something, no matter what it is, just like pick it up, make something from scratch and build upon it and release it to the world. It's like, there's something beautiful about that. But yeah, back to what you were saying, overcomplicating things usually do a lot more harm than good, honestly. It's better to keep it simple. Like the most important thing for me in music is a great melody, a beautiful melody, something that gets stuck in your head. It doesn't have to be complex, but if you got a strong melody, it doesn't matter if you're playing 1 chord or 100 chords. It's going to stand out, and people are going to really feel it and connect with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's very true. And I think to go back a little bit, something else that I miss that's important in my songwriting process is separating writing from editing.
Oh yeah.
You got to just write it sometimes, and then you have to go back to it and fix it. Like, you can't just expect to have, I mean, sometimes you like get a fully finished song, but I think that in those cases where you're writing something and you're not 100% happy with it, sometimes you just need to walk away from it, come back to it, and then edit it. And I think like with the theory and stuff like that, I think it's like you almost have to learn it to forget it. Like, you got to learn it, and then you learn it so it becomes a part of your toolkit, and then you have to remind yourself that you don't need to use it all the time.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know?
I've been put in situations where, you know, I play with musicians, and they're thinking about music so much that, you know, if we have a song and, you know, I play a chord, you know, like say I play a B major 7 and it sounds great over the mix, but then in the recording, it was actually a B major 9. They'll start stressing out like, dude, what are you doing? No, that's not the right chord. Dude, that's not the right quality. Bro, no, you got to play the right chord. And it's like, bro, it sounded good and I was feeling it. In the end,
if it sounds good, it's the right chord.
Yeah, exactly.
I think at the end of the day, you got to get over your own way. I mean, the coolest thing about theory is like breaking it and being like, yeah, I'm breaking the rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you just got to focus on what sounds good. I think a lot of people get caught up in this. Like, oh, well, like, you know, this chord's not really supposed to go to this chord. Like, okay, well, I'll say, like, does it sound good? Yeah, okay, then stop talking about it. If you like the way it sounds, that's the most important thing.
Exactly.
Plain and simple.
And that's what music's all about. People listen to music because it makes them feel something, because they feel a connection, you know? People aren't listening to music and thinking about it normally, unless you're a musician, of course. If you're a musician, there's no way around that. You know, when you listen to songs and you hear something cool, at least for me, I'm like, what the fuck did he just do there? I need to figure that out. I need to grab my guitar. But most people, they're concerned with how music is going to make them feel, and, you know, just the sound of it. Does it sound good? Right. People aren't stressing
how
out.
It's going to connect with them.
Yeah. And I feel like this happens a lot with jazz musicians. At least, you know, in my experience, jazz musicians are usually the ones where it's like, oh, you play that lick? Well, check this out, bro. I'm going to fucking play this lick, you know, whole tone scale all over, blah, blah. Just, it's like, bro, nobody gives a fuck.
Not the whole tone scale.
Yeah, I know. It's like, dude, in the end, nobody gives a fuck. If you're playing with your heart, if you play one note with complete feel and that is the note that you wanted to play, people are going to feel that note. And then on the other hand, you have a guy who's just shredding just to shred. It's cool, but that's going to get old real quick. You know what I mean? That's more to impress the musicians.
Absolutely. And I think I think it's one of those things where by learning like theory and stuff, all you're really doing is expanding the things that you know, but that doesn't mean that you have to use them all the time. It just gives you more options in your toolbox. It's not like, oh, well, I'm going to do this just to do this, you know, like I'm going to play the whole tone scale just to play the whole tone scale. Yeah. But again, if you're writing something and you're writing a lead part and you something that you know, and you're like, oh, this might sound cool. And then you play it and then like, but it's gotta be because it sounds good. Yes. It's just increasing the ways that you know how to make something that sounds good. You know, it like gives you more options. Right. But you can't just be using it for the sake of using it. And I fall into this problem all the time. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do this cool and blah blah blah. Like, put this chord in here that totally doesn't fit.
Exactly.
But yeah, exactly. Like you just at the end of the day, it's gotta sound good. It's gotta make you feel something for sure.
Right. So I had a question for you. I remember there was a video that you made that really stood out to me. It was talking about the augmented chord and how to use the augmented chord. So I play a lot of gypsy jazz, right? And I hear the augmented sound a lot, but I use a lot of diminished chords. I don't really use the augmented chord. So let me ask you a question. Say we were in the key of D minor, right? Okay. And in the chord progression, we have an A7. How would you use that augmented chord over the A7, or at least like maybe in my improv?
You could just make that into an A augmented chord. Basically, an augmented chord can be used as a substitute for a dominant chord. And you think about it this way, I mean, really, when you put that augmented chord, it's like a tension sort of. It's like just a crunchier 5 chord almost, if that makes sense. Like not 5 chord, but a crunchier dominant 7 chord.
Right.
If that makes sense. So basically, anytime you hear that, it could be a cool like a cool what's it called, substitute for a dominant chord, it might just sound a little bit different. It's like when you play, you know, an altered chord.
Right.
It's like a very similar, to me, I think it's a similar sound. To other people might like disagree, but I think it's pretty similar.
Is there a voicing on guitar that you like to play for augmented chords?
Honestly, I'm gonna sound so stupid, but I usually, when I use augmented chords, I usually tend to write them more on the piano because I can see it more in front of me. So like my favorite thing to do, like I love this little piano move, but basically if you play any minor chord on the piano, like in root position, like just like, you know, you call them your block chords or whatever.
Right.
You just can move your, and I'm actually not sure how this translates to guitar, but I should probably figure that out. Basically you can move your thumb down, move the root note down a half step. And I think that does a really cool thing. So like if you have a C, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play this. Like if you have a C minor chord.
So that's kind of like a major minor 7, right?
Yeah, basically. And you can, I think when you do that, it can take you to a bunch of different places because like I said, you can swap you can basically look at an augmented chord and treat it like a dominant 7 chord. So like if you have that, this is also a cool thing about augmented chords is that they're symmetrical. So the distance in between every note is the same. So if you put
it's kind of like a dominant or a flat 9 chord, right? Where you can move it up a minor third, take it down a minor third. So what's the pattern for an augmented?
It's all major thirds. So basically you can put it in any inversion. So like let's say we have like let's just say use C augmented because C is always so easy. You'd have C, E, G sharp, right?
Yep.
So between the interval between C and E is a major third. And the interval between E and G sharp is also a major third. And because of this, you can consider any of them to be a root note. So like you can consider it like every augmented chord is actually a couple different augmented chords.
Right. So you're saying, yeah. So if I voiced an augmented chord like this, so I could take that up a major third, and that would still go over that A7, right?
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know about it might get a little crunchier as you go, but yeah, I don't know if that's helpful.
Okay, yeah, because like with the flat 9 chord, you know, like you could just kind of. You could just take it up wherever you want, and then it's just like a really easy shape to play on guitar. But I know augmented also does have its pattern. I just never like actually looked into it and practiced it, but I know that would give me a whole different sound. I was curious about that.
I like them. They're crunchy. They're like I call them crunchy. They're like crunchy chords. I really like and I actually don't use these enough in my writing, but I do quite love the sound of like altered 7 chords a lot, and to me that kind of gives it the same like crunchy sort of sound. I don't know, it's like a 5 chord but even more not a 5 chord. I keep saying a 5 chord because I'm thinking in like keys, but it gives you like a dominant 7 chord with like even more dissonance, and I love that.
Right. So when you say altered, are you talking about like sharp 5?
Yeah.
Okay, but there's other like extensions too, right, that you can add to an altered chord?
Yeah, you could do, I think for the altered chord, don't quote me on this, I'm actually a little bit rusty, so sometimes I have to like revisit topics before I cover them on TikTok, but I believe an altered chord is you can have flat 5, sharp 5, flat 9, sharp 9 would make it an altered chord.
Okay, so you said flat 5, so like A7, flat 5. And that would kind of resolve to D actually, right? That's a really weird sound, but yeah. It does work though. That's really cool.
It sounds really nice when you play it.
Yeah, that's actually like I can use that in gypsy jazz actually. I do use the sharp 5 a lot, but the flat 5, I don't really fuck with the flat 5 too much. But that's really cool.
Well, you think about it, a sharp 5 gives you that augmented sound. If you think about it, because a sharp 5 is really like what you have when you have an augmented chord. It's raising the 5th by a half step.
Right.
So that's kind of, I think, why it works. Why it works in a very similar way to a dominant 7 chord.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm gonna mess with that. The flat 5. That's really cool. I love to overuse the shit out of diminished chords when I play gypsy jazz, just because it sounds so cool and it's so easy to play. But
it does sound really cool.
Yeah, I think messing with other extensions and stuff like that though will really like open up just a whole nother palette of sound. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I really wanted to ask about the augmented stuff.
Yeah, for sure. I think like for me, usually what I'll do sometimes is even for things like extensions. Because like I said, I'm not like an incredible guitarist or anything. So like if I'm writing a song and I want to put some extensions in it, like sometimes I'll like, okay, I'm playing a B flat major or whatever.
Right.
But I might put like a sharp 11 in like a keyboard part, like up in the voicing.
Okay.
When I'm producing stuff. Like I think that there's that's how I usually deal with tensions and stuff. I think that learning Logic definitely gave me too many cheats
I know, definitely
in my guitar playing, and now I'm like, and I think also for me right now I'm very much going through a phase where I'm trying to get much more comfortable playing guitar, and I have actually almost been writing less because I just want to work on this skill particularly.
What have you been working on for guitar? I'm curious.
Sure. So I've been working on trying to I don't know how to play this on acoustic, but I've been trying to work on my learning 3 note per scales. So and my boyfriend's like a crazy good guitarist, so like things like that, and trying to get that faster. I've been working on. I started learning blue bossa because I wanted to learn like different chord shapes, like jazzier chord shapes. So I learned the half diminished chord shape. I learned the movable. What is this? Sharp 5?
Sharp 5, yeah, G7 sharp 5.
Sharp 5, G7 sharp 5. And I like learning the movable shapes because you can put them wherever.
Oh yeah.
Go so back. I started learning that.
Sorry, go back to that G7 sharp 5.
Yeah.
So play that. And then do you know this shape? You can watch. Listen to this voice leading.
Okay.
So I went G7 sharp 5 to G flat 9, G diminished. No. G sharp diminished technically. So here, let me show you the shape. So
yeah, sorry, can't see.
Yeah. So you play that G7 sharp 5, and then what you do is you bring your middle finger to the 4th fret, 6th string.
Ooh, okay.
And then you go index finger on the 3rd fret, 4th.
Index finger on the 3rd fret of the 4th. Oh, cool. So you kind of switch them.
Yeah. And then ring finger on the 4th fret, 3rd.
Yep.
And then you bar down with the index finger so you catch fret number 3 of string number 2. Now you mute the 5th string just like a lot of the jazz voicings, you know?
Yeah. The A string. Right?
Yeah.
Cool.
So G7 flat 9. It's just like I really like that one a lot.
I like that.
And the cool thing with that is you can move it up a minor 3rd, you know? You know what I mean?
I like that. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think for a thing like... Yeah, so I think for like blue bossa, that'd be a really cool thing to add if you're, comping along and you want to add some spice to it. It's like really cool. Yeah, I just had to throw that in there.
That's very cool.
Yeah,
that's very cool. Are you a guitar teacher? Because you should be.
Yeah, I do teach guitar as well. Yeah. Do you know the flat 9 shape? On the
flat 9 shape. I don't think so.
There's a really cool one.
It's that no. What's it called?
I can show it to you.
You show me.
Yeah. I mean, if you're interested, this is a really cool kind of guitar cheat because it makes you sound fucking badass and it's really easy to do. Let me show you.
See, I love stuff like that.
Yeah. So if we have a G7, right? We got G7. G7's easy as hell, right? You already know how to play that. Now, if you
like
just,
the bar chord shape?
Yeah, you could play that. Now, if we're in a minor key, obviously diminished and flat 9 just sounds great over that 5 chord. So now let's take this shape. The shape is index finger on the 3rd fret, 4th.
Okay.
Ring finger on the 4th fret, 3rd.
Ring finger, 4th fret, 3rd. Okay.
Middle finger on the 3rd fret, 2nd. And then pinky on the 4th fret, 1st.
I like this voicing. Why am I? My headphones are.
Oh yeah. I hate when that happens. It's like you got to pull the cord back. It's like, damn.
What am I doing wrong?
Yeah. So play that.
Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, and this is really cool because, like I said, you can move it up a minor third, and then if you get good at that, it just it just sounds really complex. It's just like really, really easy to do.
That's awesome.
Since you're learning blue bossa, I feel like these two things, if you really kind of like shed them and get used to them, it's gonna give you a lot of different color and more movement. Especially if you're playing by yourself. You can really start fucking with the bass notes, and like as you're comping. Are you working on like the bossa rhythm?
Yeah.
Can I hear you play it?
Yes,
I'm turning this into a guitar lesson. I'm just curious to.
Isn't it like? Right?
Keep going.
Is the chord I was from?
Oh yeah, no, that sounds really good though. Yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks.
I wish we could jam right now, but the latency's so fucked up. It's like, man.
The lag will really definitely not allow for that.
Yeah.
Maybe exactly. One day. Where are you like? Are you allowed to say this on Twitch? But like, where are you based around?
California.
Oh, okay. So it's earlier for you then.
Yeah, it's 3:29 p.m. here, and it's like 6:29 over there, right?
Yes, it is.
Damn,
6:29.
Yeah, the time zone difference is so crazy, especially since I started streaming on Twitch. There's a lot of people who watch like internationally from like Germany and stuff. So when I'm going to sleep, they're waking up. When I'm waking up, they're going to sleep, and it's like, damn, dude, it's so hard to like compensate for everybody's time zone sometimes when I'm doing things. But
I know.
But
I love it when you like start streaming so late that other people people in Europe start waking up and joining your stream. And you're like, how's your night going? They're like, I just woke up.
Yeah, I know. Good morning. Yeah, I got a cup of coffee, and it's like, coffee at this hour? What the hell? It's like 12 a.m. You know what I mean? But yeah, the time zones are really cool. That's the beauty of the internet, though. We can connect with people, all over the world. It's honestly a beautiful thing. So this might put you on the spot a little bit, but would you like to perform a song for us, or would you prefer me to maybe play one of your songs on Spotify? Sure. Oh, you want to play? Okay, cool. I would definitely. I can
play one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's hear it.
I can play one.
Cool.
I'm trying to deciding which one I'm going to play is the hard part. Or do I want to do? Should I do the one that's out, or the one that's like gonna go out, or the one that's? Oh, okay.
It's up to you. Hey, you're the artist. You're the artist.
All right.
You choose. All right.
We're gonna do this one. This one, I'm gonna have to fudge the ending a little bit because it goes into this like cool like halftime thing, like when it's full band. But I'm just gonna figure out. We'll figure out what I do when I get there.
All right. Here we go. I'm excited.
I hope I don't disturb my family too much, but.
Okay.
It's always something. I already messed up. Give me 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're good.
It's always something. It's always something. You put the pressure. Now I'm the puppet. It's like a twitch that I cannot grow out of. I perform and the curtains close again. I'm always anxious. Bent over backward. I contortion, but you love the power. Pick me apart and put me back as you see fit. I've learned it's easier if I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep forgetting all that I hold dear. Yeah, I keep on saying it's such a drag to wear many faces. I occupy so many spaces. Somehow I've been everywhere and nowhere at once. Don't even know what I want. I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep forgetting all that I hold dear. Yeah, I keep on saying. Oh, there's a solo here.
Just scat. I'm just kidding.
I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep on saying what they want to hear. Yeah, I keep forgetting all that I hold dear. Yeah, I keep on saying. And then it goes into some weird halftime thing.
That's good. Dang, you're really talented. You have a great voice, and that honestly, that song was really cool. That's really catchy. I love it. Honestly, that's really good.
Thank you.
And everybody in here loved it too. Oh, okay. So that's gonna be.
I have to look at the chat.
Yeah. The chat was cheering you on. They loved it. That's a great man. That's really badass.
Aww.
Do you want to play one more, or it's up to you? Do you have another?
Sure. Are you gonna play one after though? You gotta play one too. Then I'll play one more.
I guess I can improvise. I'll play some guitar.
Yeah, play some guitar. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about this one because I'm practicing in a second, but
it's all good. It's all good.
At the start of the morning, you tell me what I wanna hear. But when my world starts unfolding, leave me unread and then you disappear. But when you call out my name, I will drop everything with no respect to my prior engagements. No time to wait, I've been falling asleep to the beat of my shoes on the pavement. Da 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 da. Days feel shorter. My eyes are tired underneath my brows as we get closer to our wings picking up the ground. Yeah, I gotta know, will you stick around? If I'm like the ocean and it's looking stormy out at sea, will you keep me going? Will you ride the waves with me? The waves, the waves, the waves. You sit elusive atop the promise of a better life. Words are all I have to keep me warm at night. Are you steady like the mountains? I need some structure for my sanity. Can I depend on you like you depend on me? If I'm like the ocean and it's looking stormy out at sea, will you keep me going? Will you ride the waves with me? The waves, the waves, the waves. Ah, the waves, the waves, the waves. There's a horn solo here. I'll play it shorter. I'm like the ocean, and it's looking stormy out at sea. Will you be here always? Will you ride the waves with me? The waves, the waves, the waves. Ah, the waves, the waves, the waves.
Damn! Yeah, round of applause. That is dope. Honestly, wow. I really, really, really need to check out your music on Spotify. You definitely gotta.
Oh, thank you so much. That was
do me a favor if you can.
Yeah.
If you can, put the link in the chat on Twitch so people can check you out.
Oh, sure.
And then when I post this on YouTube, I'm also gonna be doing the same. So I'll be posting all your social medias and everything.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I gotta lie. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of nervous because I haven't actually. So usually when I play these songs like on acoustic, usually I'll play with my boyfriend and he'll be playing too. So I was not gonna lie. I was definitely a little bit nervous to play it without other accompaniment because I like to hide behind the other people playing. So thank you guys for listening to my
That sounded great. That sounded great. So do you know anything? Do you know the history of Gypsy Jazz? Or anything like that?
Well, I know who Django Reinhardt is, but other than that, not really. I may have learned it like very briefly in a music history class, but I never like really learned it. But yeah, if you want to tell me about it, I mean, I'm super interested.
Yeah, for sure. So the cool thing about Django Reinhardt is, so when he was growing up, he was a gypsy, right? So he lived, I believe it was outside of Paris, with his gypsy family. They actually had caravans. He would travel using horses. They were always traveling. They never really had a place called home. But what they would do is they would, set up camp, and they would all just jam out and play around a fire. Django Reinhardt became a very skilled musician at a young age, became a professional musician, started playing gigs. And I think at the age of 19, I think he had just finished playing a gig. He went back to his caravan, to his wife. And when he went to his caravan, he accidentally knocked down a candle. And I guess when he knocked down the candle, there were some, I think like plastic flowers or something that ended up catching on fire. So the whole caravan ended up bursting into flames. Luckily, his wife got out. And as Django was running out, I believe that's when the caravan burst into flames. And he burned the whole left side of his body. So he spent 2 years in the hospital, and once he was recovered, he lost mobility of these two fingers. So his hand literally looked like this. So he still had the two fingers there, but it was almost like half of those two fingers. Right. So I was reading one of his books, and it said that after he got out of the hospital, he was always in his caravan practicing, but he would never really go out and play with the other people or jam with the other people because, he was trying to work on his skills. He didn't want to give up. So at some point, I guess he developed his skills, and he reworked his playing. And he went out to his first family jam. And in the book, I don't know if this is verified because this all happened in like the 1910s, 20s, 30s, a long time ago. When he went out there, everybody was kind of looking at him with pity, like, oh, man, he used to be such a great player. And then as soon as he started playing, he just started fucking out-shredding everybody with two fingers. And he essentially became the pioneer of a new genre that we now know as gypsy jazz. And it's just beautiful. For me, the reason why I connected with it was definitely the sound. I've always loved the minor sound, but there's just something about, the swing rhythm that's in the background that just drives it. Makes me feel like I'm in like, speakeasy with a bunch of mafia members smoking a cigar, drinking some whiskey. I just love the vibe. And after hearing about his story and what he had to overcome, it's so inspiring for somebody to have to go through that and relearn how to play the instrument instead of giving up. And he ended up pioneering a whole genre. So I guess my goal now is to bring gypsy jazz to life and make people realize this isn't just background music. This isn't just elevator music. It's a very, very, very beautiful art form, and not a lot of people know about it. So
right. Just from listening now, it's very evocative. Like it definitely it puts you in a different place.
Yeah.
I like about it.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, I just think it's such a beautiful art form. I'm into many different genres, and becoming a session player, I've learned how to play a lot of different styles. But my favorite style, hands down, has to be gypsy jazz. So I guess
that's awesome, and it's very unique.
Yeah, it is exactly. And I feel like people don't really know it, but when they listen to it, especially when they hear it live, they realize like, whoa, what is this? Like I've heard jazz, but this is like different, acoustic instruments, and it's like fast and but melodic, and I don't know, it's just really cool. That was my rant about gypsy jazz. As you can tell, I love it so very much.
I think it's awesome, and I think there's also something to be said about just like, I think at the end of the day, nothing really beats acoustic instruments. Like I play electric guitar with my band and everything, and I love it, but there's something so just like so much more real when you just see somebody ripping on an acoustic like that, you know?
Right. Yeah, I just think it's great. And also, you know, with an acoustic instrument, I mean, you can get dynamic with an electric guitar, but, you know, like if I were to play something simple, like, let me just play like an E minor chord, you know? I can kind of, if I was going to start off a song, the dynamics on acoustics are beautiful, you know? Like start off kind of slow.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like, you know, you can really control the dynamics and just create. Yeah, I totally agree with the whole acoustic thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, the dynamics are a big part of it, I think. The dynamics are more on you. You don't just like turn a knob. Like, and I feel like you're almost more connected with it because of that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's so cool about it, you know? Like, depending on how you pick, how you play certain chords, how you play certain lines, you could really, really just, you can make it sound completely different, you know, depending on how you pick it. And yeah, I totally agree with that. Acoustic instruments are really awesome. And me growing up, I've always really loved acoustic performances. Like, were you a fan of Paramore?
Yeah, of course. I'm a girl rock singer, of course.
Yeah. So like for me, I remember I was a big fan of Paramore, still am. But when I would hear them play acoustic, I was just like, holy shit, you know, like
even better.
It's so intimate, and there's something about, you know, the acoustic setting where you can't lie. You know, you can't use reverb. You can't, you know, it's just your instrument, whether it's your voice or your guitar or anything. Whatever you sound like is going to be portrayed in that setting because they're acoustic instruments. You can't just crank up the reverb, crank up the distortion, and hide all your mistakes. It's raw, you know, and that, yeah, just agreeing with what you said. There's something about acoustic performances that just make it really intimate and so raw, you know?
Yeah, I think it makes the emotion almost more apparent in a way. Like, at the same time, I feel like you have to try twice as hard when you're playing electric, like, especially if you're like, you know, you gotta, I mean, it's just different. But yeah, I feel like you're very connected with the acoustic. Like, it's just, what you put into it is exactly what it sounds like.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
All right, so I want to go into a little segment called I Must Ask You a Question. So I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions, and you're going to answer them as fast as you possibly can. All right.
Oh, I'm scared. What about if I have a Freudian slip?
It's okay. So I'm not timing you or anything. I mean, take your time, but try to answer as fast as you can. Okay. No pressure, but try to answer really fast. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right, let me pull my questions up. All right, here we go. All right, are you ready?
I think so.
Okay. All right, here we go. Question 1. Favorite songwriter?
Jack White.
Favorite band?
No Doubt.
Favorite place to eat?
Chipotle.
Favorite color?
Black.
Favorite modern band in the last 10 years?
Ooh, okay. I really like Nothing But Thieves. Trying to think. There's got to be another one. I'm definitely missing someone. Okay, but I answered fast.
Okay. Would you rather win $1 million or play a show with your favorite artist?
Oh, play a show with my favorite artist, probably.
Hey, not a lot of people pick that question. People are like, yo, give me that $1 million. Yeah. I like that answer.
To me, just staring Jack White in the face. I met him once at like a signing, and to me, honestly, it was worth $10 million to look him in the face.
That's so awesome.
Wow, I'm such a simp.
Yeah, that was real simpy, you know. Anyway, all right. So if you were stranded on an island, what 3 items would you take?
Okay, my acoustic guitar. Can I bring my phone, like, so I can?
Yeah, but you're gonna have no reception, so go ahead and bring your phone.
Oh, okay. Then I don't want my phone. Okay. Well, actually, no, I do want my phone, so that I can record the songs that I'm playing.
Oh, nice.
And, I mean, is there food on the island?
Sure. Yeah, there's food on the island. Of course, there's food on the island.
So, I guess that I have no other possessions that I care about, really. It's just my guitars. And I'm not really a big possession. I guess I'd bring my PlayStation.
But you would need a TV. So that would be a 4th item.
Okay, so scrap the phone. I'll take the TV and the PlayStation.
There we go. There we go. All right. If you were a Pokemon, which Pokemon would you be?
The Weedle.
What?
We love Weedles here.
Okay. To each their own, I guess.
No. I don't know. I didn't watch Pokemon, so but I feel like realistically, I would probably be the one that has the shell, like the most evolved version of it, not the most evolved, like the beginner one. What's that one? Bulbasaur.
Bulbasaur. Oh yeah.
Bulbasaur. Yeah.
Bulbasaur. All right. What about okay? Favorite TV show.
New Girl.
Favorite movie.
Amadeus.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one.
Yeah.
That one's fucking emotional. It's crazy.
That one screwed me up for like 2 years. I was like, I'm not good enough. I need to like become a piano virtuoso.
Oh yeah, that thing's crazy. All right, summer or winter?
Snow day. Oh, sorry. Summer.
Okay. Who's a better artist, Cardi B or Nicki Minaj?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I kind of really like Cardi B. I'm not gonna lie. I like Cardi B, but I also used to like Nicki. But a better artist? I don't know. I'm gonna go with Cardi B. I think she puts a lot of effort and thought into what she's doing.
All right. What would your rapper name be?
Oh gosh. My best friend used to call me Lil Scrappy.
Hey, all right. Hey, that one's pretty cool. Not gonna lie. Favorite. Did you play video games growing up, or do you play video games at all? Okay. Favorite video game.
Tomb Raider.
Oh wow, I haven't heard that one in a long time. That's crazy. Good pick.
I love Tomb Raider. I'm a freak when it comes to Tomb Raider.
All right.
I'm obsessed.
Okay. Embarrassing moment you had as a musician. Is there anything that you that sticks out, or maybe a short story you can tell about an embarrassing moment, whether it be a rehearsal, live performance, whatever?
Okay. I have a couple. Once was like, I mean, this one. See, I don't really get bothered by these things anymore. But I played a show and it was kind of funny, embarrassing. But I was playing a show, and I wasn't even like, I didn't drink or anything. It was at a house show. I had to drive home, but it was just like hot in there, and my mind was elsewhere. And I was in the middle of a song, and the chorus is, it's C add 9 and then E minor. And I was playing a B7 for whatever reason over the C add 9. And I was just like really confused, because in my brain, like I looked at my hand and that was a C add 9. And I just literally was playing the song and I was like, what? I was like, something's wrong. And then like my boyfriend's in the crowd and he just goes,
no way.
I was playing the C add 9 shape, I guess a half step down. And like I just had like a total brain melt. And he just goes, like pulls me up a front, and I was like,
dang, that is crazy. Oh my, you threw everything off, didn't you? That is like, that is a big deal.
I like, you know what it is? Sometimes when I'm playing, and this is going to sound really bad, but like every now and then, like sometimes I like will zone out. I'll kind of forget what I've played already. And I was just having like a weird moment where I just like wasn't there. And like, so it just completely threw me off. I was like really confused for a second. But we all had a good laugh about it. So
yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good story. Definitely a good story.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. You know, everyone messes up. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Do you have a milestone you always look back at? Something that's happened in your career so far. Ooh. Something that was, kind of life-changing or made you realize, like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
I think when I put my last song out, it did pretty well. It did, like, definitely better than I thought it would. And this is my first solo song. And I was afraid to put out solo music. I always had this idea that it was almost harder to do that than put out music with a band. And so I put out this song under my own name, and I was debating whether or not I was going to do that at all. Like, I was like, oh, my name's, you can use my actual name. And, so I put the song out, and just like the support that I received from my friends, from people that I didn't even know. I had people that I went to school with that I never talked to reach out to me and say they really liked it.
Oh,
and
wow.
I think getting that support really made me realize that I, at the end of the day, like I have something to say that at least resonates with people. And to me, that was a big milestone, because I was nervous about putting it out. It was my first time where I had managed almost everything in terms of like release and promotion and stuff. So yeah, just like seeing people resonate with it made me feel like I actually have a shot at doing something with this, whether it's, whether it's doing it on the side forever or putting out music while I do a different job, like that's okay. Like, but now I know that there are people that want to hear what I have to say. And so that was a big milestone.
Oh, that is super cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. That's awesome. And congratulations
Sorry, not
on
to be
that.
like super cheesy. Thank you.
No. That's super cool. That's not cheesy at all. Yeah, that's awesome.
Definitely a scary time and then like the best time ever. The best
yeah, definitely. Like... Okay. Do you have any pet peeves when it comes to working with musicians?
Yes. Oh my God. People
Let's hear it.
Just
Let's hear it.
Write the damn song. Oh, I had to do like a lot of group writing in college. One time I was in this group and it just like I wanted to just kill everyone because I had two people in the group that were just overthinking everything so much to the point where I was like, it's an assignment.
Yeah.
We don't have to put this song out. Like literally, not just I'm not saying not to take your assignment seriously, but it was to the point where we had nothing. I was like, can we just start with something and write it? We can go back and change things. And they just would not hear it. So my biggest pet peeve is just like when you're working with somebody and they're just a little bit too picky.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Because at the end of the day, like if you're co-writing, first of all, you gotta listen to each other's ideas. Like you can't just shoot down every single thing another person says. If so, then like why are you co-writing with them? And secondly, just people that won't like put it down and move on. Like write it down and we'll come back to it.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced
Obviously, it's different when you're by yourself.
Right.
When you're by yourself, agonize all you want, but.
Yeah, sometimes, just overthinking it will literally destroy everything that you've worked on. And that is like such a big crutch when you're trying to release something, because that could be the reason why you never release it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I totally feel you on that.
Let it go.
Yeah, exactly. All right, last question.
Put it out there.
What is your favorite instrument to listen to?
Ooh. That's hard. I really like listening to people play guitar that are like really good at it. Like you're really good at it. I love listening to it.
That's a good pick.
My boyfriend's like a really good blues player, and I love listening to that, like blues guitar. I also really love saxophone.
Oh yeah.
I do love some saxophone. I like horns in general. Like I really like the sound of like brass bands.
Oh yeah, there's
I know
something.
Some people say that they're annoying, but I like them.
There's something about when you think about
cello.
Ahead. Oh yeah,
Sorry,
cello is another emotional one. For me, any like brass or woodwind instrument, when you really think about it, they're using their breath to make the sound. So there's something about that connection that I just really love, That's why I love saxophone and like clarinet especially, because they're literally taking a breath and then singing those notes. Technically, they're almost like a singer, but they're playing an instrument. You know, it's their breath that fuels the music, and I feel like that's such a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. I think the 1 year I played saxophone, I found that very much so to be the case. Like it felt like singing.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's why I picked it up pretty easily when I was playing it. I was like, it's so much like singing, like all the breath support and things like that. The only difference is like the embouchure or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
Once you get that down, it's all like singing.
That is so cool. Yeah. All right. So I think it is time to wrap it up. Or did you have something to say? Yes, you did pass. No, you did great. Yeah. Honestly, it was a pleasure talking to you. I'm so glad to have you on the show. Honestly. Okay. I don't know what the hell that was. But anyway, no, I'm just kidding.
I just whacked my microphone into my mouth.
I know. No, honestly,
my fingers get caught.
It was great. It was great having you as a guest. I'm really glad that you came on. This was super cool. Great conversation. Is there anything you want to tell these beautiful people on Twitch TV and YouTube? Any singles coming up? Any projects you're working on? What's up? With you?
Yes. So we're finishing up the mix for my next single. Once that mix is completely done, I'm going to set it with a release date of about 3 weeks from whenever we finish it. So we're hoping to get it out around the Black Friday time. Nice. I don't like to announce a specific date until the actual product is completely done, but it's like really close to being done. And so that song, the first song that I played earlier, is the song that we're finishing up. We're going to put that out. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and all that jazz with my name. And yeah, and I just wanted to say thanks to Jason for having me because this was like the most fun interview ever. Interview Q&A.
Yes,
I guess.
pretty much. I guess, yeah.
It was really just like a hangout. It was like
exactly.
It was really awesome and a lot of fun. And I'm totally rambling now. I'm trying to think if I have any questions for you. Like, what are you working on?
I'm just working on content right now, honestly. I got a few I got a few YouTube videos that are going to be coming out very soon. Right now, I've put the whole songwriting on hold and I'm more focused on creating content. Yeah, I just want to, you know, creating content, getting high quality YouTube videos. That's kind of what I'm focusing on right now. Making content, live streaming, and doing exactly this, you know, connecting with other musicians.
Absolutely. You can't focus on everything at the same time. For me, like right now, I haven't been writing songs. I've been practicing guitar. You know, it's the same thing.
yeah. And if you ever have any guitar questions or anything like that, hit me up and I'd love to help.
Bless your soul. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
I will take you up on that.
Thank you. All right, guys. So that is it for the Jason Masoud Show, episode 3. I'm going to have Brittany's links down at the bottom in the description box, as with mine. Please subscribe to my YouTube. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out. I love you all.